Hello and welcome to another round of Market Watch. My name is Pasindu Pereira.
Hi, I'm Shadi Jannat.
Yeah, if you look at the market for the last 2 weeks, I haven't seen much of a change in the market in terms of the fundamentals or the sentiment. But if you really look at the last 2-3 trading days, I've seen some sentiment being created. Before I move on to the local market, Shadi, can you just give us an outlook on the global front? What's really happening in the global market today?
Yes, Pasindu, there are some interesting developments in the global context. Brexit fear is still there, and also the Trump coming into action, the newly elected US president,
Right.
and also the Fed rate hike, and they are expecting it to three more rate hikes in 2017. So within all these conditions, I think the dollar has been a major currency people are closely watching.
Right.
And of course, recently they have released the US jobless claim data.
Right.
Despite the release of upbeat US jobless claims data, Pasindu, the dollar has lost its value and it's at its 1 month low. Okay. So I would like to bring out the main point why this happened is Wednesday, Trump failed to address economic and fiscal policies in his first formal news conference.
Very exciting.
Okay, so Trump will officially take the office on the 20th of January. So now this has disappointed the investors. The Wall Street, of course, they are closely watching Trump's moves. So a lot of uncertainties are there. So Trump failing to address his first formal news conference, and investors are hoping they were hoping he would outline plans to boost the U.S. economy,
right,
with infrastructure spending plans and tax reforms.
Okay.
So this has created some uncertainty in the U.S. markets. Especially Trump, of course, they are expecting so many things from him, and the change from Obama to Trump, there are a lot of changes ahead. So this is the development in US and how
Right.
it has impacted on the dollar index.
Okay.
And also, Pasindu, I have to emphasize where the China, there are developments there also.
Okay.
Major economy. So we feel currently they have released their PPI data, which
Right.
is the production price index
Right.
data. Previously it was increased by 3.3%. The actual data released recently, it is up by 5.5%.
Okay.
So this is a leading indicator of China's price inflation.
Right.
So this indicator shows that there is some inflation concerns in China,
Okay.
and this has currently has a bullish impact on the Chinese yuan. So the Chinese yuan also strengthened against the dollar.
Right.
So Chinese development in the Chinese economy and the recent Trump's failure to announce his fiscal and economic policies, all this has created some negative sentiment on the dollar index, Pasindu.
Right.
So, and together with this, I would like to touch on the global commodity market.
Okay.
And with the weakening dollar and the China PPI data, gold tops $1,200 for the first time since November 2016.
Right.
Rallied to a 7-week high.
Okay.
So this is the development in the commodity. And also oil, if we see oil prices were firm as the weaker dollar lent support.
Right.
However, global oversupply remained focused, Pasindu,
Okay.
because crude stocks unexpectedly rose by 4.1 million barrels last week.
Right.
So there's some oversupply concerns with the oil, but it's still firm with the
Right.
with the dollar levels. The
Okay.
oil is firm with its support.
Yeah, Shadi, if you look at the US equity side,
Yes.
what's really happening? And what is your view in terms of the emerging markets in that context?
Yes, Pasindu, that is the interesting point here, where you see with the recent Fed rate hike, there we saw a major rally in the US equities. And also you see now with the Fed is expecting for another 3 more rate hikes in 2017.
Right. Okay.
So we see a lot of hot money flowing into US economy. So this has actually the Dow has surged more than 8%. So, but another set of fund managers, they are little worried about this massive rally in US equities.
That means the US equities are a bit overheated. That's what
Exactly,
you mean?
Pasindu. The market was the fund managers they are saying the market was already at pretty lofty valuations.
Okay.
And the Dow has already surged more than 8%.
Right.
Okay. So these conditions, Trump not failing to address the first conference and the Chinese economy's development and the overheated market condition and all these uncertainties, the fund managers are thinking it's to manage this risk within the markets. They feel it's a time. This is a good time to look into the emerging markets.
Okay.
So when talking about good news for our local markets as well. So when considering the emerging markets, the ideal benchmark would be the MSCI Emerging Market Index. Pasindu, year to date, the performance is only 2.7%.
Right.
But the MSCI Emerging Market Index has performed 23% last year.
Right.
So, and also from they say it's cheap right now because it trades 12.1 times the projected earnings of its members.
Exactly, the similar multiple, for Sri Lanka as well.
Yeah. Currently the ASPI.
Right.
And also it's worth to note it's trading 26%, the MSCI Emerging Market Index is trading at 26% lower than the PE ratio of the MSCI World Index, where the MSCI World Index PE stands at 22.
Oh.
So Pasindu, now ASPI is also at 12, PE trades at 12. And the fund managers are looking it in a different aspect where they want to invest in the emerging markets, considering this Brexit fears, Trump's uncertainties, and the development in China. So, and also Pasindu, I would like to highlight the fact where ASPI, you can see last year performance, it's a negative 9.9% to date. So, and also the S&P is a negative 2.6%.
Right.
So Pasindu, market is pretty discounted, local market, we can see.
So that means in this context, our market will also have a sort of opportunity.
Definitely.
If you look at the global context also now. Yeah.
Yes, Pasindu, because you can see the average turnover for 2016 is 700 million LKR per day, and 2017 year to date per day turnover is 567 million so far. So Pasindu, considering these turnover levels, you can see, and the ASPI performance and the development in the global trend and the interest shifting for emerging market from risk angle, so we feel this would be a good opportunity for the local investors.
Okay.
And also I would like to emphasize, Pasindu, the local developments where the central bank has published the external sector report.
If I just brief on that thing, Shadi, if you look at the trade deficit data, I think it has been narrowed by nearly 12% in September. Right? If they came up with the September figures, but we are now in the January 2017. That's a bit long period, but still, if you look at the export numbers, are quite good. 5.7% up in the export numbers. At the same time, import numbers been reduced by 2.5%. So the trade deficit ended, they did narrowed by 12%. That's something, it's a good sign. At the same time, one thing I need to emphasize, that is fisheries exports. After that,
I think the EU fisheries ban.
Correct, lifting the ban on fisheries to EU, we have seen a 200% growth in fisheries exports. I think that would be a good indicator. And if I just move on to the GSP Plus, there's a new development. I think European Commission has proposed to European Union that they are happy to restore the GSP Plus concession for Sri Lanka, because they have said they are happy in terms of the country or the Sri Lanka in terms of the labor conditions, human rights and good governance. So I think that would be a good indicator for the global investors also when they are looking at Sri Lanka. If I just move on to the market again, Shadir, from technical front, from technical angle, how do you see the market?
Yes, Pasindu, I mean now you can see sentiment matters a lot. I mean currently I think since the day 2017 started and today, still the market was hovering at its oversold region. And I think Wednesday we saw some bullish sentiment. I think with the GSP Plus news coming ahead and all these developments, so we feel the market is having some good support between the regions 6,095 to 6,160 levels.
Right.
So that was a good support for the market we saw, and it's the oversold region of the ASPI.
Yes.
And and also the ASPI is currently stands below its 200-day moving average level. So with these developments, And I think currently the market stands near its oversold levels, and there is a chance where it can cross above its 200-day
Yes,
moving
yes.
average level. So this is, from a technical perspective, we see this is an opportunity,
Right.
considering the development in the global market
Yeah.
and the sentiment, and we feel this would be a good technical entry point,
Right.
considering the
Yeah, I think
overall,
it's good to see the market had some, created some sentiment for the last 2-3 trading days due to this fact of, GSP plus concession restore. So I think if we can have this kind of a news, some more news, I think the sentiment will definitely be created amidst these attractive valuations. Because in terms of the corporate earnings point of view, I don't see much of a hiccup can be expected maybe next we'll say 2 to 3 quarters. So in that context, as I said, Shadi, there would be a huge opportunity in our market as well by looking at the valuation numbers. Yes.
I would like to add a final note, Pasindu. We saw a lot of outflows last week. Also, there's a net outflow.
Correct.
This week also we saw with the major turnover boost with the I think on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But still it's a net outflow. So we know with the Fed rate hike, expectations are there, hot money flowing into US. But I want to emphasize again, the global uncertainties still remain, and fund managers, there are another set of fund managers are looking in a different way on managing the risk. So we feel this.
So I think that's a good news.
And of
for
course,
emerging
as
markets.
Buffett always said, be greedy when market is fearful,
Exactly.
and also be fearful when market is greedy. So we can
Exactly.
apply this.
I think yes, despite this the lack of sentiment, we can still expect some good news and actually good prospects in terms of the local market. Maybe next 2 to 3 quarters, I would say.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Shadir, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all our viewers.